Yo, what is going on, guys? It is VulQn here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys all about the new caramel gear that was introduced in the game about a month ago. So there's three different tiers of caramel gear. We have the VulQn gear, the Wonder Bar gear, and the Uber gear, and some executive pieces of gear as well. But the Uber is going to be your best tier, tier 1. Wonder Bar is going to be your tier 2, and VulQn is going to be your tier 3. So if you ever get a piece of VulQn gear, you might as well just trash it because it's not going to be any good to you. Same with Wonder Bar gear, but you should hold on to the Wonder Bar gear because you can actually craft the Uber gear. If you go into the recipe here at, I believe the NPC's name is Johan, you see that there is gear here called Delightful Gear. Now, Delightful Gear is the same as Uber gear, same exact stats, everything. It is the same exact stats, same exact sockets for the jewels and everything. It just has a different name because you can craft it. Now, I wouldn't recommend crafting these because you need these reagents here called caramel chunks. These are so hard to come by. As you can see, I have 0, and I have quested almost through the entirety of caramel. They only drop from caramel. I've farmed so many balls here to get pieces of gear, and I have not gotten a single caramel chunk, which is ridiculous. The drop rates are absolutely insane, so I definitely would not recommend crafting. I would recommend instead farming for sure. So we're going to get started here on where you can get this gear and what is the best places to farm them right now in caramel. So we're going to start off with the hat. So the hat, it's pretty good for PvE in my opinion, but I wouldn't use it in PvP. You also need to take into account that the Uber gear is not going to have the Uber or Delightful gear, whatever you decide to do, craft or farm. Like I said, I would recommend farming for the Uber gear. The Uber gear does not give a set bonus. That is the only problem. The Dragoon's gear actually gives a set bonus, but the Uber gear does not. So you have to take that into account. You have to see which pieces of Dragoon's gear you want before you come over here and decide to farm some Uber gear, so you know that you can at least have the 3 set bonus, because the 3 set bonus is really important for PvP. As you can see, at least on Storm, you get the extra damage and the accuracy, which is really important for both PvE and PvP. Anyways, for the hat, you're gonna want to farm Copycat. Okay, guys, so the Copycat is located in Sweetsburg. So I'm going to go to her now, and I'll see you guys when I'm there. Okay, so I'm now in Sweetsburg, and to get to her, you're going to want to go to this gummy plant building right here. So you're going to walk over here. There's going to be a sigil here. Actually, no, you just walk in. Oh, yeah, you walk in. It's a gum factory. You walk all the way to the end of it. And it's gonna be a sigil all the way over here, and it's a 3 battle instance. So you're gonna have to fight 2 mob fights, and then you're gonna have to fight the final fight, which is Copycat. So yeah, Copycat over here does drop the hats, the Uber hats that is, and yeah, we're gonna go to the next piece of gear. Alright guys, we're back at Johan, and now we're gonna be looking at the Uber Robe. So the Uber Robe it's pretty similar to, let me put on, I don't actually have Dragoon's gear on this guy. It's pretty similar to Dragoon's gear, but the Dragoon's gear is slightly better than this, in my opinion. It's just not as good for PvP or PvE, but no one would really use those pieces in PvE because they don't actually give any damage. If we go here, take a look. There's no damage on these robes, so no one would ever use these in PvE, in my opinion. But in PvP, the Dragoon's robe is definitely better. So where you farm for the robes is the Aberrant Paradox. So I'm going to teach you guys how to go there right now. Okay, so to farm the Aberrant Paradox, you're going to want to go over here to Nana's headquarters, right on the north side of Caramel City here. You go inside, and then you want to look for that black hole that you went into to go to the final area. I'm going to try to find it right now myself. I believe it's in maybe, well, I just went to 2 rooms at the same time. Maybe in here. It's not in there either. Here, I'm gonna see where it is, and I'm gonna cut back. All right, guys, I'm back. I actually figured out where it was. I figured out the problem. My Storm is not fully quested through Caramel yet, so that was the issue there. So I'm on my Myth, who is fully quested through Caramel, and it's actually right through this door. The main door is right there. You walk over here. You walk over into this door that we tried before, and it's right in here. You hop into this black hole. And the Aberrant Paradox, which is the final boss of the whole entire game currently, is right here, who drops the robe. The Aberrant Paradox also drops a lot of other gear, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But yes, this is where you can get the robe. The only place you get the robe. Alright guys, now I'm going to be talking about the Uber Boots. So the Uber Boots are, again, they're pretty similar to Dragoon's gear. It's really whatever your preference is. If we take a look here, we can see for Storm at least that you get a little bit more damage, you lose crit, and you gain shad. Actually, Uber gear gives a lot of shad rating. That is like one of the really good things about it. It actually does give a lot of shads, so that is always a plus for PvE. But you also need to take into account that you need at least 3 pieces of the Dragoon's gear for the set bonus. Just make sure you guys know that. So for the Uber boots, we're gonna go farm Gobsmack, which is that one annoying boss in Goblerton, I believe it's called. And it's not, you don't actually fight Gobsmack, you fight these 4 minions where every time you kill one, it drains 25% of your base health. So yeah, that's pretty annoying. Goblerton is right here. You would go over here and you would go into this castle right over here. There's a sigil right there. And you would go fight those 4 minions. And you're going to need to do it with a couple of friends because that is not an easy fight. You're going to have to kill one. And then after you kill them, they actually respawn a second time. So you have to kill them a second time then, which is really annoying fight. You're going to have at least 2 other people with you to finish that fight because that is an insanely hard fight to do by yourself. You would have to heal yourself and then kill them again. It's just so complicated. But now moving on to the wands. The wands here, you can actually farm 2 different pieces of wands here. One wand is really good for PvE, and the other wand is really good for PvP. The wands that are good for PvE, first we'll talk about is the Uber wands. And the Uber wands are pretty good for PvP. I mean, I have the Sinbad wand, and let me find the Storm wand. And yeah, this wand is already looking better for PvE because critical, you lose crit, but it doesn't matter too much anymore. But the thing is that you gain that 18 shad. So I might actually have to farm this myself. But where you farm for the Uber wands is in Gutenstead. And you come over here to yes, this is a guy named Dieter. And you talk to him. And then Heidi's hideout. You accept the come over here and you can farm Heidi in here. And she also drops some good jewels. We're going to talk about that a little bit later too. So this is where you can farm for the Uber wands. Just know, guys, that the Uber gear drop rate isn't the best. So just be aware of that. It is a little bit annoying at times, but just keep farming and I bet you'll get it. Now we're going to go take a look at the executive wand, and the executive wands are right here. So this is you fight Shadow Nana in here, which does drop the executive wands, which are the best for PvP. As you can see, I don't have executive piece on this guy. However, executive gear gives a little bit less crit. You gain about a damage or 2 for certain schools, and then you also gain pierce. Each one has, I think, I know the fire one has 6 pierce. Storm maybe has 6 as well, and then there's other pieces that give like 3 or 4 pierce. So the executive gear is actually insane. For Ice, the Sinbad might be slightly better. I'm not sure on the pierce that the executive wand gives, but the executive wand is best for most schools in PvP. Anyways, now looking at the Athames. So the Uber Athame is also another good alternative to the Dragoon's gear, because I see this as an upgrade. Actually, the Uber gear would give at least one damage more than the Dragoon's Athames would. So, and it also still gives, you know, the triangle deck the triangle socket, double circle tier sockets, and yeah, in my opinion, it's an upgrade because you gain health, you gain block, and I believe you gain a little bit of damage. So, the boss to farm for the Athames is in the Nibelheim mines. I'm gonna walk there because it is a little bit of a tricky area because it is in the mines. You have to go through Nibelheim first. So the boss is called Bundozer, and the Bundozer is in a dungeon. You need to fight 1 mob fight before you can get to the Bundozer. So yeah, he's right over here on the sigil. You go into the sigil, you fight 1 mob fight, and then you fight the Bundozer. He does cheat. You can't blade against him, but you can feint. So that's pretty straightforward and how you can farm him. Now we're going to move on to the, what is it? I believe it is the amulets. So again, the amulets, the Uber amulets is another upgrade. But this is all going to depend on if you need you know, the Dragoon's amulet or the Dragoon's theme. You know, you might have to substitute one of these pieces for the Dragoons, and that's fine. Both of these are upgrades though from the Dragoons, but if you have to sacrifice one for the set bonus, that is entirely okay. You need that set bonus. So the Uber amulets are really good too. It is definitely an upgrade. You get more resist. As you can see on my Storm one here, I lose a little bit of block, and I gain a little bit of health, and I gain 1 resist. And you also get the extra square socket, so you can socket that flat resist. So where you farm for the amulets here, the Uber amulet, it's going to be the Quake Charmer. Now, the Quake Charmer is located in Sweetsburg, and I'm going to go there right now. Okay, so I'm in Sweetsburg. You take the teleporter, and the Quake Charmer is going to be right in, I believe, it is this building. Yes, it is this building. The Quake Charmer is in here. He drops the amulets, and the drop rates are pretty good. I got mine, like, really quick on, like, other characters that I farmed. Yeah, I got the drop really quick. It was actually insanely fast how quick I got it. So yeah, that's pretty simple to get in my opinion. So now we're gonna take a look at the rings. Now the rings are really annoying to farm, because you need to farm Judge Veg, and Judge Veg is a very annoying boss. So Judge Veg is located in the Black Licorice Forest. I'm gonna go there right now for you guys. Alright guys, I'm in the Black Licorice Forest where Judge Veg is. So it's right over here actually on the map. You're gonna need to go into pet mode. And you need to go into pet mode so you can get through these bushes. Otherwise it is literally impossible. So then you get out here, and then Judge Veg is right in this building. I'm not sure why. Oh, it's just a bug. Okay. I'm not sure why they weren't lighting up. It's just a bug. But yes, Judge Veg is in here. In Rosina's house, I believe the dungeon is called. Yep. You have to fight 2 mobs, and then you fight Judge Veg, and you're going to also need to farm this with a friend because he is actually going to turn you into a vegetable for 15 rounds, and you will not be able to do anything. And he does a cheat again after that, I'm pretty sure, after you turn back to normal. Even if you wait 15 rounds, it's still not going to work, and you might be dead by then. So you're going to need to farm this with friends as well, so when you get turned into a vegetable, your friends can do the, do all the work. So yeah, that is where you farm for the Uber rings. Alright guys, now I'm going to be talking about where to get the best rings in the game for PvE. The best ring in the game for PvE is right over here. You farm Uwe. And how you get to Uwe is actually, it's a side quest boss. There's going to be an NPC right here or maybe here. It's somewhere in this area. You talk to this NPC and it's going to give you a quest to go fight Uwe, which is in here. I believe you need to fight 1 mob to get to him, or maybe you just fight him instantly. I'm not really sure. Or actually, the NPC might be over here. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it is somewhere in those 2 spots that I said. So yeah, this is where you can get the executive rings, which is the best rings in the game for PvE by a long shot, because they give a lot of damage, and an insane amount of damage, and a lot of critical. Alright guys, and I'm back. And finally, the decks. The Uber decks. The Uber decks I wouldn't really go for. There's much better decks that you can get elsewhere in the game. For example, just, hitting the bazaar, you can get a couple good decks. You may have to farm the bazaar for a little bit, but the decks that you get in the bazaar are a lot better than the Uber decks. But where you can get the Uber deck is, it's scattered bosses throughout Caramel. I've gotten decks from the Quake Charmer, the same place where you farm for those amulets. So yeah, you can maybe farm him for your decks. Other than that, I'd say just go to the bazaar. Okay, so now we're going to talk about where you can farm for really good jewels in the game now in Caramel. So we're going to go take a look at that now. Alright guys, so I am back at Heidi actually. Heidi drops some of the best jewels in the game currently. Heidi along with this dungeon right here, which is, I think, another form of Nana in here. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, this is where you can farm some of the best jewels in the game currently. So there are jewels now in the game that give 14% accuracy to your school, which is absolutely insane. Before Caramel, the best gear jewel that you could have gotten was a 13% jewel, and that was only in packs. The max you can get from not paying for crowns at all would be 12%, and you would farm those throughout the spiral in the 3rd arc. So the 4th arc, Caramel, has introduced 14% jewels, which is actually insane. And another good jewel that is now added into the game at the start of Caramel is, on the release of Caramel, sorry, is the Dazzling Health Opals. I don't have any of these because the drop rates are extremely low. Okay, I have farmed for these for a while, and I have not gotten a single one. You're going to have to be sitting here for a long time farming both of these bosses, and hoping that you get these health opals. These health opals can go up to 135 health. It's anywhere from 130 to 135 health. I'm pretty sure. Maybe 131 to 135. But yeah, those health opals are just insane. It's 10 more than the max health opals from. I have 119s of these, but see 122. The max before was 125. So I have 123 on this one. But now you can get up to 135, which is absolutely insane. So that is where you can farm for the best jewels in the game, in my opinion. Now, if you're saying, VulQn, I really don't want to farm all those bosses. In my opinion, it's a waste of my time. I don't want to have to farm each one to get my pieces of gear. To that, I'm going to say you're going to want to come over here to Nana's headquarters. And I actually need to go on my myth because I forgot that I don't have Aberrant Paradox unlocked yet. So I'm going to go on my myth really fast. Alright guys, I'm back here on my myth. Now, to farm for all the gear in the game in one place, all the Uber gear in one place, in Caramel, is right in this dungeon where you farm for the Robe, like I said before. It is Aberrant Paradox. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend farming Aberrant Paradox, and you might be asking why if I can get all the pieces of gear in the game right here. That is because if you farm Aberrant Paradox, you are going to be able to acquire every single piece of Uber gear. Sure, you will. But the only issue here is that you're going to be getting a whole bunch of other school gear as well. And that's also same when you're farming the specific bosses for the Uber gear, you're going to get other schools' gear, right? But the Aberrant Paradox just has such a big pool of other things that you can get that it's going to be really hard to eventually get what you want. It's much faster, and I've seen much more success in farming these specific bosses. So yeah, you do not want to farm the Aberrant Paradox because it's just a bigger pool of loot, and it's going to be a lot harder to get what you want. So that is why I wouldn't farm the Aberrant Paradox. Alright guys, so that wraps up pretty much everything about the Caramel Uber gear that you need to know, and all the jewels in Caramel that you need to know, the new jewels. And now I'm going to be talking about one final thing, which is Spellements. Spellements are a necessity in Caramel because you need Spellements to upgrade your Caramel spell. I'm not even close yet because I'm pretty close, but I didn't even finish Caramel yet on this character, so I need to do that. And even when you finish Caramel, you're only going to have 65 Spellements out of 75 Spellements in order to upgrade your spell. So what you're going to have to do is instead do side quests. Now, you can get Spellements from the bosses that I was showing. The bosses that actually drop the Uber gear also drop Spellements, so that is really good. Another way to get Spellements is to go over here to the quest finder and, you know, just hit quest finder and see what you can find around for side quests. So yeah, that is another really good way to get Spellements other than farming for those bosses. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the video. I taught you guys about the Uber gear in Caramel and how you can craft it as well, like I said, but I really wouldn't recommend it because of those, again, Caramel chunks. Insanely low drop rate. You can farm all those bosses, I'm pretty sure, drop Caramel chunks, the ones that I showed. I know the Bulldozer does, confirmed. I don't know about the other ones, but I know Bulldozer does. And you don't know how many times I farmed Bulldozer and I haven't got one single Caramel chunk. So honestly, for me, I would rather just farm the Uber gear. It's a lot easier. So yeah, other than that, you guys know where to farm jewels, the best jewels in the game currently, health and accuracy jewels for that. And also now you guys know about the Spellements. So that is everything that I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative for you guys. If it was, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. And there'll be more videos coming. Make sure you guys are subscribing with notifications on so you guys know when I post another video. PvP, informational videos, everything you can imagine. So yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Peace out. Thanks for stopping by. And I'll see you guys all later.